In the beginning of the parasha, and I want to show you some incredible things in the parasha, on Parashat Pinchas, for a minute. At the beginning of the parasha, we read, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron הכהן השיב את חמתי מעל בני ישראל בקנאו את קנאתי בתוכם ולא כיליתי את בני ישראל בקנאתי. Pinchas, son of Elazar, son of Aaron, the priest, has turned back my wrath from the Israelite by displaying among them the passion for me, so that I did not wipe out the Israelite people in my passion. This word in Hebrew that is used here in the text, the word kin'ah, is a very important word. It's talking about fiery heat. Remember, it says that in the last days, people's hearts are going to grow cold. And this is one of the things that I want to talk to you today. How do you make sure that you do not get desensitized and your heart grow cold in the days before us? The answer that the Torah provides us is not an easy answer. By any stretch of the matter, it's not an easy answer, but it's an answer that I want you to understand something. In the Torah portion here, it says something that Pinchas, listen to this. Again, if look at the text with me for a second. Here, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron הכהן השיב את חמתי מעל בני ישראל. This is very important. This word that the Torah is used here, מעל בני ישראל, thank you, literally mean above the children of Israel. There was something that was looming upon Israel that brought a massive plague. We know what it is the sins with both the Baal Peor and also the sin of the Midianite woman. And somehow Pinchas was able to ascend above the children of Israel. Now think about it. If the children of Israel represent the law, the Torah, the mitzvot, the chukim, the mishpatim, somehow Pinchas was able to ascend, and I'm going to say something a bit controversial today, he was able to ascend above the Torah. And you probably ask yourself the question, what on earth can be above the Torah? What is this one attribute, me'al bnei Israel, above the children of Israel, above the Torah? This is the prime ingredient that each and every one of us need to understand. When Shaul says, you are not under the Torah, he understood something that most people do not understand. There is something above Torah. Okay? If the world of the Torah, in the olamot, in the realms, in the dimension, is the olam ha'asiyah, the physical world, and it represents the standard of olam ha'asiyah. What can be above olam ha'asiyah? What can be above this world? This is the key of understanding what God is required of you and operate. But this is really what it says. Me'al bnei Israel. Now, I want to show you something incredible. Ruach HaKodesh woke me up, middle of the night, told me to look at Me'al bnei Israel, because I was reading some parshanut, some commentary on this expression, Me'al bnei Israel. Look at the screen for a second with me in the next slide. Me'al bnei Israel. Unbelievable. The very first letter is the letter Mem. The second letter is the letter Bet. And the third letter is the letter Yod. The three letters for this expression from above the children of Israel is Mem, Bet, Yud, which in Judaism, in Hebrew, is a code for the word Mashiach ben Yosef, the Messiah, son of Joseph. God showed it to me, revealed it to me. It just jumped before me. I cannot find a proof to this in rabbinical literature. Maybe if I look hard enough, I can find it. But it is something that is important to understand, because I'm going to connect it to you. You have to understand something. Mashiach is above the Torah. Mashiach is the Lord of the Torah. The reason Yeshua was able to say, Moses says so and so to you, but I say this to you, because Mashiach ben Yosef is one darga and one level above the Torah. Now, as somebody who shomer Torah like myself, I want to tell you something. Don't get offended with what I'm about to tell you. There is a level for each one of you above the Torah. And if you stuck in the level of Torah, and you don't go to the level me'al bnei Israel, it will be very difficult to make it through the days that are coming before us. And you probably ask the question, yourself the question, what is the level above bnei Israel? Mem bet yod. It should not be a coincidence to you. Look with me in the next slide. Mem bet yod. That Chazal said that explicitly, that Mem bet yod, which is Mashiach ben Yosef, is equal in Gematria to 52, which is equal in Gematria to the name Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet. That's why in rabbinic literature, the spirit of Pinchas and the neshama of Pinchas is associated with the neshama of Eliyahu Hanavi, which is associated with the neshama of Yochanan Amadbil, Yochanan the Immerser. It's the neshama that cleaving itself. And that's why we read in the Haftarah today about the Eliyahu Hanavi as well. There is a connection between Pinchas and Eliyahu Hanavi. It's the same neshama. And the premise that I like to present to you today, the Lubavitcher Rebbe said that each and every one of us, listen to this, this is truly inspiring. Each, because we know that Eliyahu Hanavi have to come before Mashiach Tzidkenu, He says that each and every one of us need to discover inside themselves the neshama of Eliyahu Hanavi. In essence, if Eliyahu Hanavi have to come before Mashiach, we have to acquire the neshama of Eliyahu, which is the neshama of Pinchas, in order to bring redemption to the world. The real Eliyahu Hanavi is the one that is hidden inside of you, who is ready to be discovered. That's why Mem Bet Yod is Eliyahu, Mem Bet Yod is Messiah, son of Yosef. Incredible. What is this attribute that God is requiring you to purchase? What is the one thing that all of us have to acquire if we are to be truly called Messianic? If we are to be truly called Messianic and the one who have the character and the spirit of Eliyahu Hanavi, there is one character attribute that we must have. And I think in the Sanhedrin, in Tractate Sanhedrin, as we're going to look at today, it's explained. Listen to what it says. Pinchas renounced his entire portion in the world to come. Stop there, period. Pinchas was willing to give up his place in the world to come. The number one characteristic of a one who carried the spirit Eliyahu Hanavi is a person who willing to move over and give his seat in the Olam Haba for the benefit of Klal Israel. Wow. This is a big rule. This is a big law in Judaism. Only a person who is willing to get up and move his tuches from the seat so that somebody else will sit in the seat is a person who can usher the coming of the Messiah and coming of the Geula, which is an antithesis to every bit you learn. They teach you in church that you need to find salvation in Yeshua and then hold on to your salvation for all that it takes. Don't give up your salvation. Judaism teaches the exact opposite to Christianity. When a person found salvation and found redemption, he absolutely must move the chair, move the seat, and give the seat to somebody else. And this is the number one thing that Pinchas has done, Eliyahu Hanavi have done, Yeshua Mashiach have done, Shaul have done, Moshe have done. Yeshua said, blot me out. Moshe said, blot me out. Paul said, blot me out. All of them have something in common, and I need you to hear what they have in common. They look for the benefit of Klal Israel. That's why today people don't understand it. When our soldiers go, and I'm not joking when I'm telling you that, they sacrifice themselves on the border. They go there, and they're waiting for Hezbollah to fire those drones that blow themselves up and take a lot of our soldiers out. They, in essence, sacrifice their own life for the Commonwealth of Israel, for the benefit of all of Israel. And this is, friends, the premier attribute of the one who is to be ushering the Messiah to the world. Listen to what it says. Pinchas was able and willing. Let's read together. Pinchas was willing to bring this entire portion in the world to come. He was willing to give it up and acted zealously for the benefit, and I want you to underline those words, for the benefit of Israel. And this is why the sages declare it in Psalm 106:30, meaning that it held a trial and argue with the master of the universe, saying, shall 24,000 from Israel fall because of these two? I want you to think about this for a second. This is so shocking that you and I can argue with the heavens. I spoke about it a little bit last night, but I would like to expound on this a little bit today more. We have the capacity and the capability when we are acting for the benefit of Israel, when we are doing something for the benefit of Israel, we can change the mind of heavens even about the wicked. Even about the wicked, even about the evil, we can still argue. And here God was sending this plague, 24,000 people are dying left and right, and Pinchas, one human being, was able to stop the plague. I am telling you this today because if you are willing to move your chair, to move your seat, to move over, you can be Eliyahu who bring the good news to the wicked today. When we talk about the Torah of Berurim, what the Arizal called the Torah of Berurim, we need to understand what it means. It means moving the chair, let somebody else sit in the chair while you become the lawyer, defender for the other person. That's what it means to be messianic. You are being a Messiah to somebody else who does not have the merit. And where the merit comes, the merit will not come from the wicked. The wicked is wicked. The merit comes from a righteous person who is willing to move the chair so that the wicked will sit and you will defend him. You follow that? This is a different way to look at the world. When you are dealing with wickedness, when you're dealing with wicked people, when you're dealing with wicked situations, you can stand in the gap for those situations. We as Messianic believers must learn to stand in the gap and stand in the breach for this. Matter of fact, let's see what Sanhedrin 44 says about this, of what Pinchas has done. And I quote, "Then Pinchas stood up, and he executed judgment, vayefalel, and the plague was stayed." Psalm 106:30. We'll look at that in a minute. And Rabbi Elazar said, and he prayed, vayitpalel. It is not stated. Rather, he says, vayefalel. He is executed judgment, is stated, which teaches us that he entered into a judgment together with his creator. Let's stop there. Can you imagine entering into judgment with the master of the world, with the creator of the world, for a sin that you have not committed? Can you imagine entering into a court of law for a sin that you have not committed? This is exactly what Pinchas has done. Who do you see in Pinchas? You see in Pinchas a message of Mashiach ben Yosef. That's why it's Mem Bet Yud. He has taken upon himself a crime and a sin that he has not committed. In Galatians 6:2 it says you are to bear each other burdens. Well, that means that you are to take upon yourself sins that you have not committed, which is very different to the way you look at things in Christianity. We don't take each other's sins. We don't bear each other. We don't carry each other. But it is not true. That's how the spirit of Eliyahu is coming to the world. The spirit of Eliyahu coming to the world through ability of one another to carry the sins of one another. And here you have seen the perfect picture in Pinchas of what Yeshua has done for all of us. This, we are to be the imitators of the Messiah. We are called to become the imitators of the Mashiach in those days before us. Listen to what it says in Sanhedrin 44. It's stunning. It says here, listen to that. He entered into judgment together with his creator. How so? He came and cast Zimri and Kozvi down before Hashem and said to him, Master of the universe. Was it because of these sinners the 24,000 members of the Jewish people fell? As it is written, and those that died by the plague were 24,000. Listen to the chutzpah. Listen to the chutzpah of Pinchas. Pinchas has so much chutzpah that he go before the heaven. And he is arguing on the hot seat to the heaven. But you see what he's really doing, if you read with me next slide, Psalm 106 verse 30, ויעמוד פנחס ויפלל ותעצר המגפה. And Pinchas stepped forward and intervened, and the plague was ceased. Let me ask you a question. How did he intervene? What does this intervention look like? You know how the intervention look like? Vayifalel, from the word palal, from the word plili. He was willing to move himself from one chair to another chair, from the accuser chair to the defendant chair. This is an incredible attribute. Sometimes when we see sins around us, all what we want to do is no to the sinners. But the Torah is teaching us something else. The Torah is teaching us, when you see a sin, push the sinner over, put yourself in the chair of the sinner, and intercede for those who have sinned. What a principle the Holy Torah is teaching us. When Joshua saw the sin of Achan, he ripped his clothes and he said, it's the sins of Israel. Why? Because he understood that leadership means that we as leaders take responsibility for the sins of others. The spirit of Eliyahu come to teach us that we are to truly take the sins of others. And that's a distinction between Pinchas and between Eliyahu. Eliyahu separated himself from the community. Pinchas never separated himself from the community. He stayed with the community. He is interceded for the community again and again. And I want you to understand this today. This is what it means truly to be messianic. This word, Vayifalal, from the word plili, mean that he was willing to go and become a criminal. But you see, there is something very, very important about it that we all have to understand. It's even deeper than that. Notice at the beginning of the parasha, the name of Pinchas appears with a yod. Why is it significant that it appears with a yod? You know, look at with me in the next slide. When you take the name Pinchas, in Gematria is equivalent to another person name. It's the name of Yitzchak, Isaac. Why this is important, that Pinchas' name with a yod is equivalent to exactly to the name of Yitzchak. Let me explain to you why. Yitzchak represents what's called Midat HaGevura. מה זה גבורה? גבורה is Midat HaDin, is judgment. Who is the one who is the judge in heaven? It is Yitzchak. You need to understand what is happening there. Pinchas is come before Yitzchak to intercede for the Jewish people on the Midat HaGvura, to nullify, to completely nullify the judgment and to nullify the decree. Brothers and sisters, you can nullify decrees upon the wicked, even if the wicked committed a sin without repentance. Do you know that? This is what Torah is teaching us. What you have to do if you see a Rasha, somebody a Rasha in your family, a wicked one in the person, even in your family or a friend, you go and you take upon yourself his sin. You bear it upon yourself, and you can spare him from a great pain and a great travail. Incredible. And the Holy Zohar, somebody asked me, is Zohar really holy? Of course Zohar is holy. Why wouldn't it be holy? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is not holy? Of course he's holy. All of our tzaddikim are all holy. And here the Holy Zohar read, the holy lamp arose and said, huh? What on earth? Who is the Holy Lamp? You're probably wondering who is the Holy Lamp, so let me explain to you. The Holy Lamp is one of the names of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So just as a topic for you, when you see the expression the Holy Lamp, you know that is one of the name of the Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Let's see what the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, the ancient composition, it was said as following: come and see, Pinchas stood before the fierce judgment of Yitzchak, and stood before the breach, as it is written in Psalm 106:30, and Pinchas stood up and executed judgment. And the plague was stayed in order to protect them, Israel, and because of this one and the one are included together in the numerical value. Why is Yitzchak equivalent to the name Pinchas? Now you understand why. Please understand it. He was able to take the mitat adin upon Israel and to bring the world to amtakat adin. What is amtakat adin? Amtakat adin is sweetening of the judgment, sweetening of the decrees. There is a great decrease. The world right now is in the decree. The world right now is a great judgment. And I'm telling you right now, you can bring the world to amtakat adin, to sweetening to the judgment. The Arizal explained it in such a beautiful, powerful way. The Arizal says to us that there was a berur that have to take place. Make yourself a note. What is happening here in the text is the separation of the sheep and the goat. What the world needs right now is more Eliyahu's who redeem the holy sparks in the world. And he's calling you to be this Eliyahu today. The Arizal explained to us that the moment that Pinchas did what he did, okay, by the way, he wasn't still a Kohen. He became a Kohen only when he killed Zimri, which is very important point. Only when he did what he did, he became the Kohen of Israel. But listen what it says. Aaron's son, Nadav and Avihu, okay, they had a strange fire in them. They had a fire, but it has a strange fire. Remember what's happened? They were consumed. The moment, according to Jewish understanding, that this is really incredible. The moment that Pinchas has done what he done to Zimri and Kozvi, the neshamot, because the neshama is eternal. The neshamot of Avihu and Nadav went through a tikkun and they entered into Pinchas. Why? He was able to separate the strange from the fire. Is fire good? Fire is very good. Is the strange fire good? Strange fire is very, very bad. He was able to even redeem the souls of the dead, which is amazing to think about this. And it's the strange fire become a holy fire. This entire Torah portion, brothers and sisters, is a picture of what the Lubavitcher Rebbe called Avodat HaBerurim, the work of separation sheep and goats. What is Avodat Berurim? Separation of sheep and goats. Separation of sheep. It's important to understand that Avodat HaBerurim is not to say this is bad and this is good. This is not Avodat Berurim. This is a mistake to think that this is Avodat HaBerurim. You know what is Avodat HaBerurim? Is identify something is bad and now go to redeem the bad and bring a good spark from the bad so it will turn into good. So I understand something. Avodat HaBerurim is not the destruction of the bad. That's happened only by Yom Ha'u Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad. That's occur only in the end. That's not your job. That is not my job. To take all the Berurim, all the things that say are bad and try to destroy them. That's Mashiach's job. Berurim is to identify what is bad, but extract the good from inside the bad. That's what it is. Bnei Israel were bad. A plague was coming, but the plague had to be stopped. Because there is a berur that is taking place today. When you go to the world, don't look at the world only in the term of this is bad and this is good. Look at the world from that perspective. The bad can be redeemed. And that's the point of Avodat Berurim. To turn the Ra letov. To turn the evil into something good. This is what God is commanding all of us to do in this last days. It's incredible. So the chibur that I am talking to you about, the chibur of the neshamot, is what's called avodat haberurim. The last days is the days of avodat haberurim, to find dark things. And look at this. You see the avodat berurim also inside the nation, right? He didn't say in the Torah portion, destroy all the Moabites. He said, destroy all the Midianites, but not all the Moabites. Why? Because inside Moab, we had Ruth. We had a remnant. Therefore, he said, no, we're not going to destroy Moab because Ruth is coming. Mashiach is going to be born into the world from Ruth. You follow what I'm telling you? When Avodat Berurim is complete, and I think all of us need to look at our life right now as a project. Ask yourself in your point in your life right now, what Berurim you have to do. What sparks have to be redeemed inside your life? What sparks have to be redeemed in your families, with your friends, with your loved one, in your community? And you will find out that there's many berurim to do. And the only way to do berurim is put yourself in the position of the other person. You follow what I am telling you today? And I know it's not easy, but that is the spirit of Eliyahu Hanavi. And this, friend, it's above the law. Why was he not judged? Why was he not persecuted? Why was he able to enter to the court of law with Hashem, God Almighty, and overcome and receive Brit, a new covenant from Hashem? Because he was not doing things for his own self. We must stop living our life as self-centered life. We must stop living our life as our life belongs to us. Our life belongs to the community. Our life belongs to Klal Israel. Our life belongs to the Jewish people. Our life do not belong to us. A person who lives his life in a self-focused way, just around who he wants to be and the things he wants to do, he cannot bring the spirit of Eliyahu to the world. It is as simple as that. That's why in the Brit HaChadashah, in the book of Matthew, we are warned, our love going to grow cold to our brother. Keep your heart tender. Keep your heart pure. Dev tzedakah toward your brother. You heard today amazing thing about Muslim brother. Wow, if we don't run and support it, I will be very, very sad. Because it's mean we don't understand what it's mean to carry each other a burden. Okay? We have responsibility toward one another. I told Rebbetzin the other day, may God preserve me to do all the work I need to do toward the community of faith. Notice I don't say communities of faith, I say community of faith. There is one community. There is only one body. And there is only one faith at the end of the day. And it is a community and a body of Klal Israel, the corporate house of Israel. And this is what we have to teach you. Mesirut Nefesh is above Torah. That's why when Yeshua say you are to give your life toward one another, lay your life toward one another as I laid your life upon for you. This is above Torah. You have to understand this. It's way above the Torah. So many of us are still kindergartner. You are stuck in this level of knowledge, of education, but there is no Mesirut Nefesh, which is the essence. It is the essence of the Torah. Listen to what Rabbi Schneerson has to say about this, and I quote. Self-sacrifice, Mesirut Nefesh of Pinchas, was above. Now you understand why he says above Israel. You and I can be above even those people with the pealach. Stop idolizing those people with the pealach and the dress and the black and white and the long beard. Do you think that this what make a person holy? No. What make a person holy is his level of Mesirut Nefesh. His level of being well able to move from the chair and open the chair to somebody else while he fight for this person. That, friend, is holiness. That is the attributes of holiness. Listen to what Rabbi Schneerson is saying one more time, and I quote. He says, self-sacrifice, Mesirut Nefesh or Mesirat Nefesh of Pinchas was above even holy reason and logic, as Pinchas' conduct was a case of a law that is taught but not instructed to the public. You follow that? Incredible. I love it. Therefore, he merited the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, which is above the holy reason and above the logic, through which a priesthood normally passes from father to son and cannot be earned through a good deed. In the same way, Mesirut Nefesh, self-sacrifice of a leader of a redemption, you give the example of the preface of Lubavitcher Rebbe, was a self-sacrifice above holy reason and logic, to the point that there were many people who basically opposed him, went against him. And just like Pinchas, after the redemption, it was revealed that the contract was in a matter of he was zealous for God, meaning that they ultimately agreed with this service. Let me tell you this, what he's saying, this, it's above logic. It's above a tingly feeling. It's above emotion. When you do things as Mesirut Nefesh, of laying your life down to the point that you know you're going to get in trouble and going to go to the court of law and you're going to have to fight for this. Now the brother sees that sin is upon you. Brothers and sisters, it's not logical. And I would say it's against human nature even. But the moment you get to this point, you know that the spirit of Eliyahu, the spirit of Elijah is resting upon you. Rabbi Schneerson, I believe, continues and says the following. This is a connection for Pinchas to the name Yitzchak. Since Pinchas in Gematria equal Yitzchak. Only when he have the extra yud, meaning only when he operate in his fullness. As the binding of Isaac was not only a physical self-sacrifice, but a spiritual self-sacrifice, since though the binding, the major principle that Abraham planted would have been uprooted, heavens forbid. The lesson is that there must be, we will hear, naaseh, to go out into the world, to draw the children of Israel close to the actual practice, and through I have received from you, the connection to Moses exists within him, and also within those he drew close, including the virtue of we will hear. Are you following what I'm telling you? The ultimate trial is a trial like Isaac, who went to die and to give his own life. Are we willing, especially in those 3 weeks, the weeks that are now Ben HaMetzarim, where Sinat Chinam, baseless hatred, has caused us for the destruction of the temple, which in 2.5 weeks, we are going to be standing in 9 to 5 without a third temple, lamenting. Maybe we can bring the third temple quickly now, speedily in our day, but by moving from our own chair, being a little bit less selfish, giving a little bit more, sacrificing a little bit more, fighting for our brother a little bit more. Maybe if we can do those things, the Messiah will come and the temple will be established. Maybe if we can just push a little bit more by dying and giving our life as a living sacrifice, even to our adversary. Listen to what Paul says in Romans 12:1. I quote, I exhort you, therefore, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer yourself as a sacrifice, living and set apart for God. This will please Him. It is the logical temple worship for you. Do you notice what Paul is telling the believers? He's telling them that your bodies, your mind, your spirit, your emotion, your arguments, your convictions, the things that ticks you off, all of those things have to be a living sacrifice in order for another person to come on in. I challenge you today. What's stopping you of to be the bearer of the good news? To be the bearer of the spirit of Eliyahu. God is commanding you today to become like Eliyahu Hanavi and bring the Geulah one step further. And the only way it can occur, number one, if you operate with your fullness. Pinchas had to add the extra yod to be able to flip judgment to mercy. Hamtakat adin. Operate in your fullness today. Only through your fullness, the fullness of your mind and your fullness of your spirit, you can perform those things. And yes, you are becoming a criminal, just like Abraham. Avraham ha'ivri. Abraham the Hebrew. The word Hebrew comes from the word avarian, the criminal. Abraham the criminal. It is okay to become a criminal for the sake of Israel. When you become a criminal for the sake of Israel, even the herons will get you free out of jail card. That's what they have done for Pinchas, and that's what will be done for you. I pray this message today, not an easy message, hit you. And now you go. Remove your seat and make it available for the criminal while you defend the criminals. God bless you.